Oh, YouTube. You ever have one of those days where you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? And just over and over and over again? You know, Groundhog Day? I just got finished making a video after I already made a video, and I gotta make another video on the same thing. Because I suck. Yeah. Third time's a charm, YouTube. Let's do this. The left. If I could sum the culture that's been around the past decade, leftist dominated culture, it has to be hypocritical. It makes your blood boil listening to the likes of Justin freaking Trudeau, right? These people are freaking hypocrites, man. And to talk about like misinformation as much as they do, they certainly do it. Like it's brutal. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I just spent an hour making 3 videos about the same thing. I'm running out of things to talk about. Dave Pakman, you need to do better. Okay? Guys, I gotta show a video of David Pakman just ripping down Donald Trump, picking Marco Rubio. I don't know if you guys know Marco Rubio. He ran for president back in 2016 with Donald Trump. Marco Rubio was the guy that came up with the small hands. His hands are small. And they it's politics, man. Just spit and spat. We heard some language that we've never heard before in political campaigns and debates, simply because it's Donald Trump. You know, you like him for that or you don't like him for that. But like Dave's gonna go off and talk about how humiliating and pathetic it is to talk like that to one another during a campaign and then hire the guy later. Let's just get into it. I got a funny thing to show you. Let's go. Dave Pakman. Hang on.
The shape of Donald Trump's forthcoming administration. And it is a very ugly
the texture.
shape. And it is a very abrasive texture. Some of these are humiliating, although I can't say
texture
I know
and shape.
exactly for whom they are humiliating. And I want to start with Marco Rubio. Donald Trump previously referred to Marco Rubio as clueless, as a lightweight, and as a choker. Marco Rubio previously referred to Donald Trump as a con man and many worse things. And
if they did that this year during the campaign, that'd be a little bit of a different thing, right? But did you notice Marco Rubio didn't even run? He was one of the smart people that didn't run because Trump was running. What's the point of running against Donald Trump? There was no point of it.
Yet, the New York Times is now reporting Donald Trump is expected to name Republican Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State.
Good. Good for you. Congratulations, Marco Rubio. Congratulations, Matt Gaetz. We'll have to get to that one next. Matt Gaetz is enormous. Biggest deal of the campaign so far. But Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, good job. We got to remember he's bullish on China. Bullish, I mean, going after China. He's, you know.
I want you to consider as we go through this story.
You need to consider
this.
Is
it more humiliating for Marco Rubio or is it more humiliating for Donald Trump? And then what I'm actually building towards is telling you that this entire humiliating affair, the Trump-Rubio affair, as maybe we will call it.
That's funny. So how about you guys comment down below who it's more humiliating to be, Dave Pakman or Kamala Harris? Okay? Because I got some stuff coming down the Rubicon, and we're going to get to it.
It may be more representative of why Republicans win rather than of why they are
Only my
pathetic,
example
although
is
arguably
it's going to be
both.
why they lose, not
So
why they
yes,
win.
it appears as though Trump will be naming Marco Rubio to Secretary of State. Now, previously, here are some of the things that Donald Trump tweeted about Marco Rubio.
Of the things.
Tap into slots with over 1,000 games and new ones added daily.
Fuck out of here with the ads,
Quote,
YouTube.
lightweight Marco Rubio was working hard last night. The problem is he is a choker. And once a choker, always a choker, Mr. Meltdown. In 2015,
even 9 years
Donald
later,
Trump
you're still a
tweeting,
choker.
Marco Rubio had no idea what he was doing on the Chris Wallace show. Said Iraq was not a mistake. He looked clueless. So choker, clueless. Trump also in 2015.
Sorry,
Marco Rubio couldn't even respond properly to President Obama's State of the Union speech. Without
Obama. I gotta get that audio clip.
He choked. And then finally, although we could do this all day, finally, Marco Rubio is a total lightweight who I wouldn't hire to run one of my smaller companies, a highly overrated politician. Trump previously...
I mean, let's think it. Let's take a jab at Marco Rubio for a second, okay? Okay. Senator of Florida running for president. Maybe he was overrated? He's not running for president anymore. He's not running for president anymore. He's not running for anything. He's Secretary of State now. He's not an overrated politician anymore. Now he's a bureaucrat. Check this out. Because this is hilarious. From The Guardian. 2020 election, Kamala Harris attacks Joe. Don't forget to unmute the videos, guys.
Do not believe you are a racist.
Oh.
And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear.
Let's not forget that Bernie Sanders was supposed to win that election, and same with the 2016 election.
You talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Look, everything I've done in my career...
Busing was a thing in the 70s where the black kids couldn't ride the school buses to school or something like that. Either they couldn't have school buses to school, or they couldn't sit on the school buses with the white students. Blah, blah, blah. Joe Biden, you're a racist. So, you have, on one hand, Donald Trump, Marco Rubio. On the other hand, Joe Biden, Kamala. Okay? 9 years ago, Trump, Rubio have a spat. 9 years later, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. On this hand, you have Kamala Harris accusing Joe Biden of being a racist, and then 6 months later goes and works as his vice president. That's pretty humiliating, Dave. Like, that's humiliating to me. That's humiliating to me. I'm not black. Maybe that's not humiliating. Maybe a black person can tell me. Comment down below if you're black. Tell me that it's not humiliating to work for the same person you just accused of being a racist. All right? And everyone else, you can comment on who should be more humiliated, Kamala or Marco Rubio. Right? Now, as for Dave, this is the problem with you, Dave. This is the problem with you. There's two different sides of your point, and you're going to point one of them out, and If that ever happened to me, I wouldn't make a video about it. Right? Like, somewhere in the back of your head needs to be a check and balance. To be like not one thought passed in your head about this debate, about how humiliating it must have been for Kamala Harris to work for her, the person she accused of being a racist. Which information is that? Is that misinformation? Is that disinformation? I don't fucking know at this point. But you're leaving out key context that your viewers aren't going to see, and they're not going to go and look. They're not going to go and look, or else they wouldn't have looked you up on YouTube. So these people look to you for information, and you're like, I'm going to give you the perfect information that sounds good for you, rather than give the whole information. Okay? No, there's nothing humiliating about having a political spat 9 years ago and then going and working for the guy later. You weirdo. You weirdo. Dave Pakman, I'm coming for you. And I'm not the only one coming for you. Okay? There's a whole bunch of us out there who are willing to give good, accurate information. And not just a one-sided ordeal. You thought you were on the winning side of history. But guess what? All you did was lie. Guys, I'm out. Go make fun of Dave Pakman.